All right, everyone. Welcome to the AMA workshop. We are on session 2 today, and we've got tons of things to cover for session 2. Jared, just want to check and see if you are reading me. We're coming through on the live stream.
Yep, things are going good. It looks like the audio and video are both coming through.
All right.
Good,
Perfect.
good to
Perfect.
go.
All right, so today we're going to be covering in session 2, we're going to be covering landing pages, and we're also going to be covering, we're going to do templates, start building templates. So if you see me looking up here, I've got a monitor up over here where I've got my kind of items, my to-do list as I'm going through today. So just so you, if you see me looking up, I'm not staring at the stars. I'm just reading my script here, making sure I don't miss anything, which at my age I tend to do sometimes. All right, so what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to talk about unsubscribe. This is one of those really important things where people don't really think about the strategy behind somebody pressing that unsubscribe button down at the bottom of the email. And what happens? So the guys with the basic version of Act, when somebody clicks that bottom unsubscribe button, which you have to have on there's two things you have to have in your email when you send out. One is your company name and address, and the other one is your unsubscribe. Those are the three things that you need to have when your email goes out. Otherwise, it won't let you go. Won't let you send it out. So the people with the basic version of Act, and just remember of our marketing automation, there's four versions. There's the basic, and then there's the entry level, which is called. Oh man, my mind just went blank. I think it's called. Jared, what's the second? There's four different ones. There's the basic,
Select.
select.
The
Thank you so
select
much.
is the AMA select. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of you may have AMA Select as part of your package. If you've gotten Growth Suite back in the day, this has been
Hmm.
probably about 2 years ago. Some people were able to get Growth Suite as part of their package. And then there's what's the next one? Advanced, Jared?
No, it's complete, and then
Complete
and then
and
I
then
believe
advanced.
advanced is the. But most people don't have advanced. Complete is usually the
Yeah,
best one that most customers get, just because that's at least what I've seen, at least in terms of
yeah,
people's of our customers that have gotten it. So.
exactly. So if you've got the basic, this is what you're going to see when somebody unsubscribes. They're going to get this little message. And that's all they're going to get. And all they can do is just unsubscribe from everything. And that's the basic. That's the free version. The the uh, the next one up, the select, has way more features and functionalities. And some of you on the call today have the select version, and some of you have the next one up, which is the complete. And so the guys with the basic, sit back, relax, watch, and see what the people with the more advanced features can do. And the more advanced unsubscribe would look something like this, where you can graph it all up. They can choose to select what they get from you, and anybody with select, complete, or advanced can do all the stuff I'm going to show here. But for those of you who have the basics, don't get disillusioned. We're going to be getting into templates, and so you need to know that. So this first little part, you can kind of just get an idea, and you may want to upgrade to a little bit beefier package. Uh, but if not, this is fine. Just remember the unsubscribed. This particular one here for the basic, all they can do is unsubscribe, and they unsubscribe from everything. Okay, just so you're aware. But that's just part of the basic or the free version. All right, so this is what you're going to get. So now let's dive in, and we're going to go into the different components of the unsubscribe. So there's the basic, there's unsubscribe designer, preference center, and unsubscribe center. There's several different areas that you can modify this. So let's just get into Act here. All right. Just so everybody knows, if you're working in Act Marketing Automation for about an hour, and all of a sudden you get a little message saying can't connect, and you get this JWT error. Um, that's I'm getting that because as I was working on this and testing stuff out, every hour, bang, this thing would boot me out, and I'd have to close down Act and put it up. So don't think that there's something wrong with your machine. I think Act is working on some stuff in the back end, and they don't have it. They have it timing out after an hour for some reason, at least on mine. And I've had a couple of people reach out to me and say, "Hey, what's going on here?" And so I've said, "Hey, it's happening to me as well. So just be aware of that." All right. So where do we go and adjust the um, the unsubscribe area in Act for those who have the select, complete, or advanced? Um, and none of you have advanced, so we'll just say select and complete. Um, Over here, we're going to go over here to admin. And under admin, there's three areas. There's the unsubscribe designer, your preference center, and your unsubscribe center. So let me describe these. Your unsubscribe center, let's go to that first. Now, going back, let me just pop back here really quickly. So if you don't do anything, if you just leave it the way it is, this is what's going to get sent out. Would you like to unsubscribe from all emails? Yes, and Bob's your uncle. That's all you get to do. If you change anything in the unsubscribe designer, this is where you can actually type out your message as opposed to do you want to unsubscribe? And so in here, we could have something like, let me just grab this here. I could pop something like this in here. And then I could change the font to, let's say, Toma, and we'll leave it at 16, and let's just bold that. And so when you send out an unsubscribe, this is what they're going to see down here. So let me just go to open up my email here just so you see it. And then what you'll see in this is you've got the designer, which gives you you can put graphics, and it's a little flaky on the graphics, just so you're aware. You can't put a really super big file in there because it acts all goofy. I've messed around with that yesterday. So basically text, you can bold, highlight, change the color. So if I wanted to make this red for an example, I can go over here and make that red. So you can kind of dress it up a little bit. It also has HTML. So if you have HTML code that you want to throw in here, you can put HTML code. Or for those of you who know what an iframe script is, you can pop an iframe script in here as well. So the HTML lets you do a bunch of other things besides just typing this in. But for most of you, I'm aware of what your skills are with HTML. There's a few of you on there that know some HTML. You could go into that and do this, or you can just type it into this area here. And then once you've done that, you're all good to go. And so this is what the unsubscribe. Oh, I didn't save this. Oh, this is the header, footer. No, that's right. Header, footer. Yeah, you can put in a footer in here as well. And then I just have to save that. And then let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. So this is what it's going to look like instead. All right. So that's what's going to happen when you send it out. It would look something to that effect. I personally don't use this. I mean, you could if you just want to change the text. If that's all you want to do is just say, "Are you sure you want to unsubscribe?" and kind of do that sort of thing. You can actually just type some stuff in there, or even get into the HTML. So I personally don't use this one. If I'm going to use the unsubscribe, I want to, what's the goal of the unsubscribe? The guy wants to say, okay, I don't want to get any more emails, but you want to give him a choice. You want to kind of go, are you sure? Drag it out a bit before he says, well, maybe I should keep getting these, right? And so you want to have a list. And so one of the things we'll talk about today as we're going through this is, adding some fields to your database that you can then populate in. So let me just go and show you what I've done here before we go to this next step. So I'm going to go into Act, and under Personal here, I've got this one little area here that I put under Personal. It says Mailing Lists Unsubscribed. And so I've set up 6 different ones. And again, depending upon your company, you can have different things. Like on mine, I have totally different items for subscribe list. But in this more of a financial advisor, I've got investment opportunities, market updates, newsletter, podcast, seminar, webinar. And so they can unsubscribe from any of these lists, but they could stay on any of these lists as well. And then that way they're still getting email blasts from me. So let's go back down to the marketing automation. All right, so let's switch out of this, and then we're going to go over here. Now, out of these 3, the one that I like the best is the Preference Center. And the one that this particular one, unsubscribe one, let's just go to this so you can see what this one looks like. This allows you to set up an unsubscribe component here. And I'm just going to edit this one so you can see what I've done. It basically says a start to end, and then I can go into the unsubscribe form. And in here, I can set up different questions, that sort of stuff. But it's limited. I think personally, it's limited in what you can do. I've tested this out. I've used because you can go back into here. Let me just return. In here under your page properties, you can use a different skin. So it's not bad, but there's a better way to do it. So in here, you can choose different skins, which we'll go into, and this is all part of the templates. So when you create templates, there's 3 different types of templates that you can create when we get into that. And so one of them is called a skin. And in the skin, you can choose what skin you're going to use. And in this one, this is my demo preferences. And so when I go up over here, and I just want to look at the hyperlink right here, I want to see what it looks like. You can see here, I've got this nice picture in here, and then I've got the email address stuff. Now, this would work just fine for putting in all of your questions, right? Like this one says unsubscribe from all. I can put in, would you like to get to this list? Would you like to have that list? But the Preference Center, in my opinion, works the best. So we're going to go over to the Preference Center, but this works very similar to the Preference Center. So you've got this unsubscribe here, and you can actually go in here and change and have an end action after it, which makes it really handy. So once they finish pressing the button, you can do different things. So both of these, let me just go back out to here. Both the Unsubscribe Center and the Preference Center are very similar, other than the Preference Center gives you the chance to create all of your questions ahead of time and then takes you to the page where you can actually mess around with it. In this case, the unsubscribe takes you directly to this page and allows you to make some adjustments or add some questions in there, which is great, but I like the way the structure works on the Preference Center a little bit better. So this one I don't use because basically you're just typing in text and that's what's going to show up. On the unsubscribe one, as you can see here when I get into it, it gives me a decision part in here. So I can actually, at the end of this, when it's finished, I can put an end action in here and say and tell it to do something, which is totally awesome. So we're going to bypass this. We'll come back to this one. I want to go into the other one first. So let's just go return, and we're going to go in here to the Preference Center. And this is the one I like. And we're going to go. Now this is the one showing the one that I currently use. And so let's have a little look at this one. And you can see here, if I go into the edit page properties, you can see here's the stuff. So this is unsubscriber change preferences. I don't have a folder, put that into folder. Here's the link. I can get the URL. I can change the URL. I can take the iframe script and I can put that on a website. I can put that into a bunch of different places. I could have it to go to a campaign once they unsubscribe if that's what they want to do. And then we've got, here's the skin that I've selected for this. And that's why the unsubscribe center and the preference center are really good, because I can actually choose skins on how I want this to look and feel, and we'll get into that. That'll be the first thing we do when we do templates this morning or this afternoon, depending upon where you're at. So this is what the one I have. This is what mine looks like. And let's just scroll down here. So you can see here it populates their email, and then they can choose act tips and tricks, blog posts, updates, all of these different things, and then they can also unsubscribe from all lists too. And I can even put in a field in here, which I think I'm going to do, which basically says, so why are you unsubscribing, and make it mandatory. So there's a lot of cool things you can do, and this looks a lot better, and it gives them the option, instead of opting out of everything, they can choose what they want to watch. Maybe they want to just get the service announcement updates, right? Maybe that's what they want to keep, so they unsubscribe from these ones, but keep the other ones. So that gives you an idea. All right, so let's just go back. We're going to return. We're going to create one from scratch. So let's go back out. And we're going to create a new one, new page. This is for our demo. And this is Preference Center, so we go Continue. And let's give this a name. Let's just call this, let's see here. I've actually got this set up over here, so I'm going to copy it. I was trying to save myself some typing. So we're going to call this one, that's the page. And let's see, preferences. Now skin. I've already done a skin, but we're going to show you how to do the skin. Actually, we're going to change it up. We're going to actually, I could choose the skin, and my preference is this one here. I could choose that, but we're going to build one. So we're going to do this later. We're going to add this later. And then unsubscribe from all needs to be in there. I cannot have that in there, but in order for this to work, for me to send out the emails, I need to have that in there as well. So let's just go in here and go Continue. And now I'm going to add my questions. So in my questions, I'm going to have a few different things. So I'm just going to copy the ones that I have up here just to make this a little bit faster for me. So we're going to go New, give it a name. And basically this says investment opportunities. And what I want to do this, as I want to put in here, search for this. Investment opportunity. So I'm going to link it to that field. I'm going to check this off and say OK. And then I'm going to add the next one. And the next one is market updates. Copy that. Paste that in there. And there's our market updates. So I'm mapping this to the field. So hopefully you're getting what's happening is I'm saying, okay, ask this question and link it to that field in ACT. And as they check off or not check off something, it's going to actually update in ACT. All right, let's add a couple more. So this would be for a newsletter. And newsletter. Now I could have sped this up and had this all preset, but I wanted you to see this from scratch and get a feel for doing this. So what I would do is have your questions ahead of time, and then you can do what I'm doing, where you could just go in here and put these in. Now, ahead of the time, you're going to have to go put the fields in ACT. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do, is put in the fields that you want to link this to. Because if you do this, then you got to go back and link it later. easiest thing to do. For those of you who are maybe using the advisor template, they should be, if you're on version 24, you may already have them. If you're not, you'll need to put them in. And if you don't know how to put them in, we can help you with that. But come up with the question or the email lists that you want to have, or the things that they would subscribe to. Let's see here, we're going to choose seminars. And since COVID is kind of relaxed, at least at this point, we can actually have a seminar, couldn't we? Check that off. And then we've got one more. Copy that. Paste that in there. Webinars. And then add that in there as well. So now that I've got all of my my lists, if you will, I'm just going to go create. And then we wait. And it comes up with this same decision area here, or this kind of process. So what'll happen is I still have, just like on the unsubscribe one, I can go in and put in different actions at the end of this if I wish. But we're going to go into the form, and we're going to edit the form. So just press go. And here's what the form looks like. Now, here's a bit of a warning. Under actions, you've got save and return, add a control, add a template, copy a form, layout designer, and return. Do not mess around with layout designer. It's for a specific purpose, and if you go and change this the way it is to the layout designer, because it'll automatically flip into a different structure, you won't get the look and feel that you saw with the one that I have, where it all looks really colorful and the fields are right on top of that nice green. Well, I don't know if it was nice green, but that green color. You won't get that. It'll look really funky, but it's made for a specific thing, which we're not going to touch in here. So by all means, stay away from the layout designer. It's not what you think it is. It's for a specific purpose, and it'll just mess things up. So stay away from that. Just stay with the basics we've got here. So now what we want to do, we've got, okay, email addresses, by default it has to be in there, and unsubscribe has to be in there. So we want to go a little bit more than what we've got here. We want to ask some questions. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm going to copy this. I actually changed it on ours. I'm going to add an action in here. So I'm going to go over here to actions, and I'm going to add a control. And I'm just going to put in a, I'm going to change this to HTML. Now, it's not what you think in HTML. You don't have to know any coding. We're just going to put in an HTML control, go add, and it'll pop up like this. So you don't have to know anything. You don't have to know any coding, but I can then paste in this. I can bold it. And what we're allowing us to do by doing the HTML, it allows me as a label to go and change a bunch of things. So I can change this to, you know, a dark blue. How about that blue there? A dark blue. And then we can change this from Times Roman to that. And let's just make it, let's make it 18 font. Okay, so unsubscribe from mailing list. And I like what I've got. Where the regular fields, the other ones, they don't allow you to change the size or any of that sort of stuff. So once you've kind of put in what you're unsubscribed from the mailing list you're not interested in, and then we're just going to go in here and go save return. And what this does is this puts it right at the bottom, and I'm just going to grab the little hamburger here, and I'm going to move it just underneath the email. So email address, and then it's basically going to say, okay, unsubscribe from the lists below. And we can't change the fonts on here, but we need to use these type because there's specific type of fields that link to. The HTML, you'd have to know code to be able to link them. And so now we want to have one more. We want to keep this separate. This little one is the ones we want them to subscribe to, and we don't want to give them this particular one unless they have to. So we're going to just click in here. And here's another way of inserting a control is just go insert there. And then we can go in here to HTML again, add a control. And in this one, I'll just copy my little text here. And let's make that 18. And we're going to make it Toma. And we're going to bold that. And we're just going to go, are you sure? Question mark, question mark. Oh, and we'll actually, are you sure you want to unsubscribe? There you go. So we're making it a little bit more difficult. We'll make this one just a little bit smaller, 16. Okay, that should be good. So let's just go save and return. Not return, save and return. All right, so now that we've got that, let's take this and drag it up just above the unsubscribe all. So each one of these fields are connected to a field in ACT, or each one of these questions. And each one of these, and then the other nice thing about using this preference center over the other one is this makes sure that these are checkboxes, yes, no fields. As opposed to the other one, you have to select each time the field type. Takes a lot longer to build this. So now we've got this set up. We want to change the register button. They're not registering for anything. So let's just go in and customize this. And we can do a few things. First of all, let's just do put in what we want. So I could type in submit or update. Oops. Update my info. Something to that effect. And let's see, the background color right now is white. So why don't we change that? And if you have your if you have a code, a hex code, you can just key in the hex code if you've got your hex codes. We're going to just kind of pull this up a little bit. Let's make this more of a there we go, more of a green, and make that a little bit darker green. And then what we want is the foreground. We're going to make that, which is the font, we'll make that white. And we can actually change the width of this and the height and size of this. So let's just go save and see what it looks like. And so it's obviously not showing everything, so we need to go a little bit wider. So let's make this, say, 100. Save. It's not going to scale it, but let's go save and return, and let's have a look. Whoops. Scroll down to the bottom here. And we'll click on the link. And so there's our email address. Unsubscribe from mailing list you're not interested in. Unsubscribe from all, are you sure? And then there's update my. Okay, we need to go wider on that. So we'll change that. So let's go back in and edit the form. And we're going to customize this. And let's just make this 150. Save. Save and return. Scroll down. Click the link. Update my info. So there we go. So that looks pretty decent. So we're just going to leave this the way it is for now. We're going to go and add the skin in a few minutes and show you how the skin works. All right. So that's what that's going to look like. Now, When we get to your templates, you're going to change a couple of things when you build your templates when we get into that. But is there any questions, Jared, popping up about this part of it, actually creating the, and if you have any questions, folks, go ahead and type them in the question area, the comments area. Jared's monitoring that. And if anything you want me to kind of cover in more detail or restate, please let me know.
Yeah, we don't have any questions so far there, Gary. It's yeah, just been quiet so far.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. But yeah, if you have anything, don't hesitate to put those comments in there. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I just want to kind of review this one more time of the formatting or function of this. So once we get into here, into this form, and we edit the form, each one of these, if you click on the length of these, so let's just edit this. You'll see that the width is 400. The height is 100. You really don't need to change anything there. That's fine, and it should show up fine. I'm going to actually move these down to 16 because I think in my original template, I think I had 16 and I don't want them to word wrap. So we're going to keep it the way that was. And we're going to do down here and we're going to change that too because that changes how wide I need to have that. Instead of 400, I need to go to like 5 or 550 and I haven't calibrated how much I need there. So I'm just going to put these back to 16. And you can mess around with this and test it. But once you've got it all kind of nailed down, then you should be good to go. So let's just go in and save and return and return here. All right, so that's what we need to do for landing page. And you can see I've got in here, this is the one that I use here. I'm going to quickly just go into this. Actually, let's just go and review this one. I've got this one sent to you can see here how this looks. All right, and then you can get a copy of this if you wish. I also, if you don't want to go through the laborer's work of doing what I just did, I've got a template. I can send you the template, and then that would save you some time. It looks like the green one that we've got there, but that's if you want to save some time, I can just send you. I don't think really you can brand it yourself at the bottom on the template. So basically, it's a template, and I can send you that template. And then you can just brand it yourself. In fact, I think I've got it set up so that you put your own logo and stuff in at the bottom. All right, so let's move off of that. So if there's no questions about these three areas, unsubscribe designer, and these preference center and unsubscribe center, again, I navigate more to the preference center just because I can do it faster than if I do it into the unsubscribe center. They're basically the same thing. It's just this one allows me to set the structure up and it chooses what type of, that they're yes, no fields. If I use the unsubscribed center, I've got to choose each time what type of field type it is. Kind of like when I chose the HTML for those two, I would have to go through that each time as well. So I just don't want to go through that. So this is much faster to use. So if you're going to use these, use this particular one. And there's one other thing I'm just going to show you here, and I'm going to use mine here for a second. I'm just going to go and edit this, and I'm going to go into here, and I just want to show you one more thing you could do with the one unsubscribe page there. Let me just show you. I'm going to go into the properties page. And this is just more for reference. iframe script. I'm going to copy this iframe script, go close, and then I'm going to go return. So you could create, this is just HTML code basically. But I want you to see that in this one area under the unsubscribe designer, I could, if I wanted to, I'm just going to put it underneath here just so you kind of get a feel for it. I'm going to paste the iframe script. Actually, I'm not going to paste it there. Sorry. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to go to HTML, and I'm going to paste that code in there. And then I'm going to go up here, and basically this is just going to fill that in just like that because I put the code in there. So I can go save, and if I want to look to see what this looks like, the only problem with that is it takes the green from the border side out, but it keeps the center part. So you could do it that way if you wanted to. So just an option. Let's go back out. All right, so we're going to go in. Actually, I'm going to change this really quick. Get rid of that. Back to the designer, and I'm just going to pop this in just so we have it in there. So if we want to look at the different types, we can. Change that to Toma, and we'll bold it and leave it at that, and save and return. All right. Okay, if there's no questions, Jared, on creating the unsubscribe page, we're going to dive into templates. So before we
Yeah, we don't got no questions yet
no
on this,
questions.
so I think it's good to go to dive into some templates.
All right. So we're going to jump into some templates. The first one we'll create once I show you some of the basics here is going to be the landing page template, or the unsubscribe skin, if you will. So there's several types of templates. So I'm going to click on the email template here. I'm going to go over to actions, and I'm going to go click on new template. So when you click on new template, you can choose from a bunch of pre-done templates if you wish. All right. There's, I think, about 170 different ones. They keep adding to it. But what I'm interested in showing you at the top is these three here. So this particular first one on the left-hand side, the one column WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get screen, that's an HTML one. So you'll only want to use that if somebody has sent you some HTML code. You can use this. You pop the HTML code in there, and let me just show you what it looks like. So one column, template name, I'll just put some gobbledygook in there. It's a WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get. We're going to go save. And this is what you get. Basically, that same HTML editor that we had when we went into HTML and added those lines and did a little bit of formatting on the unsubscribed pages. So I've got the design. And so what you would do is you'd paste your HTML code in here, press save, and you're good to go. That's basically how this one works. So we're just going to go return because we're not going to build one from here. And we're going to go new template. So the other two are, this is just a blank email template where you can start from scratch. And then this is a blank email template, but for a landing page. So I'm going to go through, we're going to start with this blank one. I'm just going to show you all the features in there. And then we're going to build three different templates. We're going to build a skin, and then we're going to build a couple of other templates as well. But if I click on the blank one, let me just show you what that looks like. And it says editor type. That's a drag and drop, which is what we want. And this will come up with a blank template. All right. So we're just going to cancel out of that. And this is where you'll start dragging and dropping stuff into it. And then the other one is and this one functions a little different. The designing of it is very similar. Still drag and drop. It looks pretty much the same way. However, you'll see it doesn't have the unsubscribe or any of the other stuff at the bottom. Like you don't have to have the email or the address and the unsubscribe and all that sort of stuff. You don't need that in here because this is a landing page template used for making a skin for your unsubscribe and also landing pages, which we'll get into next week. So we're going to go return. And so we're not going to build one right now. I'm going to actually show you all the components, and then we're going to build some. So let's start off with a new template, and we're going to use the blank one, and I'm going to go continue. And we'll just call this junk and save. All right. So let's start off from right and go left. We're going to start off with the settings. So first of all, the first setting that you're going to want to change in here is the content area width. And its default is 500. You're going to want to move that to a minimum of 600 pixels. Anywhere from 600 to 620 is fine for mobile devices. So if your target audience are mainly looking at your emails that are coming to you, you're going to want to have it around 600 to 620. You don't really want to go beyond that. If all of the people that you're sending emails to are using computers, you're working in a B2B environment, and you know most of them are looking at your emails through a computer, you can go wider. You can go up to 900 pixels. I've never done 900, but I would do 700 would be the widest I personally would go. And I always try to stick around 600 to 620 for my emails that go out. All right. That's the first thing. So that's under setting. That sets your structure, if you will. You can content area alignment. I've got it always set at the default. Background color. So background color is a funny thing because you can actually change the whole structure of this by changing the color. So all these Fs are white, but let's just say I wanted to have this more of a bluey color. I can go in and you can see the whole background changes, and I can make it a light hue of a blue, right? Or if it was the CoreLogix color, I could make it a green. You kind of mess around with it a bit. And so you can kind of goof around with the whole background. And so when the email pops up, everything will be green. And you could even have the fields green and stuff like that. So it just looks like it's coming through. It depends on what you're trying to do. So if I was going to mimic an Outlook email, I'd want everything white because that's how you get your emails, right? You get them kind of white. So I would kind of leave that in a white mode or the default. So we're just going to work from the default just so you can see what how this works. The content area, we can have a different color as well. So right now it's transparent, meaning whatever the background over here is, it will reflect there as well. And so that's transparent. But you could have this, like for an example, I could have this gray, and then I could have this, under the content, I could have this, let's say red. You see under the content, it's red, or I could have it white. So that's kind of how that works. So we'll just leave that at white. You can change your font type. By default as Arial. They don't give you a slew of choices, but you have some that you can actually choose from. I just leave it at the default. And then the link color is a blue, and that's what the link is, like the unsubscribe. And you'll notice in this template, by default, it's put the company name and the company address, and then it's got click here for unsubscribe. All right, so let's go over to roles. So that's the settings. Now we're going to go into the roles. The roles are the structure. It gives you one role to start, and this is a role right here. And now you can have different types of rows. You've got ones where you have different segments you can put in here, and you can see they're at different layouts. Some you can get down to where you've got multiple pictures, or these are the layouts, and you can change them as they're going along. I've seen some people will just start with one and they'll build everything under one row. I don't recommend that because if you want to change stuff up, it's a pain in the butt to modify. So in this example, we're gonna put a couple of rows in here. I'm going to put another row on top of that. We're going to put another row underneath here like this. And let's put one opposite of that like that. And then we're going to put, we'll put another one of these down here. And you can mix them around. And each one of these rows, you can have a different background. If you look at this, the background row could be a different color. See? So the settings change the overall, but I could have the side on this one red, but then I could change the content to a gray or a blue. Do you see? So this gives me lots of flexibility here to change this any way I want. And that's one of the nice things I like about this app is you've got tons and tons of options that you can choose from. All right, so we've got our structure set up. We put the rows in that we want. And then you can also adjust the rows as well when you're on them. So let's just go in here. So if I wanted to go in and adjust this row here, you can see if you scroll down far enough, you can see this hide on. Yeah, I don't really need to use that. That just means you're going to hide this section on a phone or hide it on a desktop. I usually just leave that. But I can adjust this. You can see that as I adjust this, it adjusts at real time. So this allows you to kind of scroll this and kind of make it the widths that you want for those columns, which is very handy. And in here as well, I can have, we'll get into these settings a little bit later. All right, so that's the rows. Now let's get into the content. So we're going to drag each one of these in, and we're going to actually talk about what they are. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to throw a title up here. You just drag and drop, paragraph, and a list. So that's what's going to go in that first section. I'm also going to scroll down to the bottom here, and I'm going to grab the text one and put it under, get my mouse here. Come on, there we are, underneath there. So those are the text ones. So we're going to put those ones in first. Then I'm going to put in an image over here. I'm going to put in a button over here. Let's put a button in underneath. And then maybe I want a divider. So I want to divide the text from this area here. So I'm going to put a divider underneath here. And then I want to put a spacer. Now, where do I want to put this spacer? I think I'm going to put the spacer down on the bottom here. Whoops. There's a spacer. And a spacer is exactly that. It's just giving you room in between, and you can adjust the spacer. I want to add a social media underneath there. I want to add, well, you can add HTML. We'll just pop that right underneath here. Actually, I don't want it there. I want it, let's put it underneath here. HTML block. And then we want to add a video. So let's put the video right here. And we want to have some icons. We're going to put the icons down here. And menu. Oh, I'm going to put the menu up at the right at the top. Come on. There we go. I'm going to put the menu at the top. And then the last one we've got is a GIF file. Where are we going to put that GIF? Let's put the GIF. Let's put it right here. And then we're going to add a text in this one here. And we'll add some more text in that one there. So now you can see we kind of got all the different information in here. So let's start off at the top and we'll work our way down. Menu. The only time you'd want to use a menu is if you're going to add items and make it kind of look like a web page. So when they got the email, they would have action items at the top. And let me explain. So you have some structure that you can change at the top here, font size, color, text color, link color, whether it's centered, left, right, justified, line spacing. This has a ton, and I mean a ton of adjustments that you can make to this template. You can do padding. You have more options on the padding. Padding is basically like margins. You can adjust things up and down, left and right, and it just makes it really, really flexible. And I've not seen a lot that have this much flexibility in here. I can even get the padding for, this was padding for one area. I can do padding for other areas as well. But if I want to add an item, let's just say, okay, so this one is called, the title of this is called Home. So this would be like the home button. Home. So you can see that up at the top. You can give it a title if you want. I'm going to actually take the title off. And then what you do is you'd put your URL in here. So I could do https://corelogix.ca/home. And then that would, and you can just copy these off your different pages. And then when you save that, this would actually have a link to the home. You can see it's got a hyperlink button there. So now what I can do is I can add in another one. And each section in here, so there's home. I've clicked on this twice. So this would be about us. This one would be products. So you can get an idea here, and then you can add spacing between here. You can dress these up a bit. But that's what the menu item is. It gives you a menu up at the top where they can actually click on and go to, you know, your website. It could be all sorts of different things, but you're actually putting a menu. Menu can be horizontal, or it could also be vertical. Your choice on how you want to format that. So I won't spend a ton of time on that part. We're just going to kind of go through. So the next part down here is the title block, and basically it's just a title block. I personally don't use these three: the title, the paragraph, and the list. I usually use the text. So watch what happens when I click into the title block. Look at the menu item here. See what you're limited to what you can actually do here. Same with the paragraph. It looks identical. Same with the bullets. See that? They're all the same. But when I actually go to the text, which is this one here at the bottom, when I use this one, I get the full outline. I can do numbered. I can do bullets. I can change the font size, where I can't change the font size on these other ones. So when I go into a text block, I can bold it, I can change the color of it, but I can't change the size. I can actually go over here and adjust the size over here. So that's not true, but I can't do it from here. I actually have to go over here and I can adjust the font size. So I can do it, but to me it seems like more steps than what I would want to go through. So there's no right or wrong here, folks. Use these, you know, the title, the paragraph, and the bullets if you wish. All they have minimum information here, but you can go over to the right and make adjustments there if you wish. I just personally have gotten into the habit, right or wrong, to use this here, and then I do have some adjustments on the left hand or the right hand side, but they're a lot less. It just gives me right at my fingertips really quick. I have access to just about all of it. So hopefully that makes sense. Now the HTML, basically, this is where you'll put HTML code in. This is a little bit different than the other editor that we've used for HTML. So I personally wouldn't use this one because you actually have to have HTML coding in your background. There are a few online here that maybe have the idea on that. The next one here are pictures. All right, so if I wanted to throw a picture, you see here's another text box that I can put in text information. The next one here is that I've got in line here is the pictures, and so I can go browse, grab a picture, and so there's a picture. I can take that picture, take off the auto, size it the way I want. I can make it left justified, right justified, or centered. Dynamic image just allows you to go find an image, all right, through HTML code. Um, Alternate text if you want to have that in here. Image link, so if you want them to click on the image and go to something, you can put a URL. And again, anytime it down at the bottom, if you've got block options, you can see if I wanted to have this down a little bit, I can do this, and I can add some padding to the top. You see how that moves it up? I can move it to the let's see, right here, or to the left. Oops, turn to the left. So this gives you tons of incremental adjustments that you can make to this. I love the power of this, and it's really stupid simple once you get a hang of it. All right, so that's the image. Next one is a GIF file. So if you go into a GIF, it will actually pull up a little thing that you can do where you can search for GIF files. And so if you're going to do this happy birthday one for an example, you can just pop that in. You can do a search for GIF files. Now, I have not seen where you can upload your own GIF. It looks like you can only pull from these GIF files. It doesn't look like... I've asked about being able to pull your own up, but unfortunately at this point, I haven't seen anything. I like this one here. So there's your GIF file. So on your GIF file, again, you can take off the auto size. You can make this bigger, right? Full width mode, if you wanted to. You can align it left, right, center. And then again, you can go in, add a link, and you can do your padding, which adjusts this wherever you want it. So that's your GIF file. Now, your video file will pull up when you go into add a URL for this, it's going to pull from either Vimeo or YouTube. And I think I've got a YouTube here. Let me just find one. Yeah, there we are. So let's... So I'm going to test something. So there's a video. I'm going to test something. I found this auto code. So typically you click on that, it goes to YouTube, but it doesn't automatically play. So there's a bunch of little codes. And if you're interested, I will get you the codes. Auto play. Okay, I did something wrong. Okay. Question mark. Oh, it's not going to let me do that. No, I can't do it in here. I was hoping that I could actually put the autoplay in here. We'll just leave it the way it is. So once you've got that set, they just click on that. That will take them to whatever video you've got in there. And you can make the background solid. You can change a few things in the video, but not a heck of a lot. So if I wanted to look at this, it says right in here, YouTube or Vimeo. But really, you can't change much more than just popping that in there. The icon player, you can have light, you can have select the icon size. That's the center image there. So that's basically it for that particular one. Going down, so now we're going to go into our social media files. So basically, you can remove the ones you don't want. So let's just say you don't use Twitter, and let's just delete Twitter. So Twitter's out of there. And then all you have to do is put in your links to your Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And if you want to add another one in here, and you could align them left, right, center, you can also change the format of them. It gives you quite a few different formats that you can choose. I'll leave it at the default. And then if you want to add one, it's got a bunch of other ones. So I can use, let's say, YouTube. I'm going to put a YouTube one in there. And then I want to add, I don't know what half of these ones are, but you got a few others you could add to this. That's Twitch, I know that one. All right, so that's for that particular one. Now this icons, for the life of me, when I first started messing around with this years ago, I thought, where would I use icons? And as I was prepping for the for this workshop, I thought, okay, I'm going to dive in. I'm going to find out where would I ever use icons, and I figured it out. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. So in here, when I click on icons, first of all, you've got your font family, your font size, your text color, all of these good little things that you can have in here. But if I go and add an icon, this is the default one that comes in there, a little star. You can create your own icons just in a PNG file or a GIF, and I'm going to add an image. And I actually I've created a couple of them. I'm going to take this one here, this YouTube subscribe button. I'm going to insert that. And so what that does is I was able to put my own YouTube subscribe button, which I designed, and pop that in there. And I could add a couple of more. So there's my YouTube one. And let's see here. If I want to, where is the? Give me a sec here. More options. That's what I was looking for. You have to turn this more options on. It doesn't by default show that, which I think it probably should. And then here's where you can put in the URL. So if I wanted to pull in my, let me just see here, icons, let's take this one here. Sorry, it's really small text. I can pop that in there, give it a title, target page if I want. And what this will do is now it's got a link. So that will take me to the YouTube channel. Now, you'd want to lay this out a little bit better and stuff like this, but I'm, again, just showing you. I'm going to add one more here, change icon, and we'll grab our CoreLogix logo. It's down there. And now I'm going to actually open this up. I could put corelogix.ca in there. And then when I'm all finished, this is a big one. Don't forget to press the save button right here. If you don't save it, once you move off that, it's a gone. All right. So there you go. There's a quick and dirty, all the little components that you can use in there. It's actually can be a little overwhelming, but take your time. You got this. It'll be a recording. And then if you want to see what it looks like, you can go up here and send a test to yourself, which we'll do when we build the templates here in a second. Or you can go into preview, and this will kind of show you what it looks like. Okay. All right. So any questions, Jared? Oh, Jared's not, oh, there he is.
No questions.
All right. All right, so let's just return out of that. We're not going to save this one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build 3 templates. And we've got just enough time to do that. But you needed to know all the little bits and pieces for that. So let's start off. First of all, we're going to do an unsubscribe skin. We're going to do a quick and dirty one just to show you how it's done. So we're going to go new template. We're going to check the blank landing page. Landing page can be used for 2 different things. It can be used for a landing page, which we'll discuss next week, or it can be used for a skin. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on that, go continue. And what we're going to do on the name is type skin in, hyphen, and then the name of this. And so we're just going to call this demo, demo unsubscribe. And we'll take, actually, instead of a 0, we'll put an O there. Landing page, and so we're good there. We're going to press save. So once this comes up, I can start building this here, but I'm going to go over to actions, and I'm going to go over to, where is it? This is where I want to show you. This publish, it's different than a regular template. You make it, you save it, but then you have to publish it. It's a little different. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, go over to our settings. We're going to make this 600. 605 is fine. And what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our picture that we want to put in the top. So I'm going to add another role. We want a picture. We want the content. And then we want one more at the end here. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to, first of all, we're going to grab an image, and we're going to pop that up at the top. And we're going to go browse. And then we're going to pick graphics here. And I just happen to, nope, that's not the one I want. Banner. There we are, CLX banners. All right, so let's take the banner. We're going to take this image here that I've already done up. I will probably be doing a webinar or something to that effect, or maybe a live stream on showing you different ways to do graphics. So here's one. This one's got a white background, unlike the one that I built for myself. This has got a white background, so I don't have to go and change all the side colors and make it all match. So there's my graphic at the top. Then what we want to do is we want to put some text in here. And I'm going to actually say, let's go in and choose. I'm just going to copy some of this text here. Oh, this was I grabbed the wrong one. Let's, if you grab the wrong one, you can just delete that. And I'm going to add another role in here. And I'm going to go to content, add text. There we are. That's what I'm looking for. Paste that in. And we're going to make that bold. We're going to make that 16. And then what we're going to do is underneath that, we're going to add another text block. And just underneath that, so that it gives me some something to pull away from. And I'm going to go to special here. And I'm going to go to merge. That's what I was looking for. It was form. That's in this, when you're using the landing page, form is the only, under merge tags, that's the only one that's available is form. When you're working with a regular template, it gives you all the fields. So that's where the information is going to go. I can make it centered. I can do whatever I want with it. I'll leave it the way it is. And then down at the bottom, I maybe want to have, let's see. Let's just add in, actually, I don't need to add this in because I think I've already got that in the template, but we'll just leave it there for now, just to give you an idea. And then what we're going to do is, oh, by the way, any of these fields, if you want to change the color from 55555, which is a gray color, you can just click on that and choose black, and that will update that whole section here. Same with here. I'll change that to black. And then on the bottom, I'm going to grab an image. Where's my image? There you are. And then I'm going to go in here, go browse. And I'm going to go back. And this is why you want to set up folders. I don't have a ton of folders, but let's see. Let's see. I'm just going to search for CLX. and we'll grab a icon, and oh, that's way too big, so I'm going to make that smaller, about there. And then, oh, I think I'm going to add, just to give it a, I'll add a spacer down at the bottom just in case. And you could add social media or whatever else you want in there, but that's pretty much it. So I'm going to save this. So even though I saved it, it's not available to me until I go up here and go publish. And each time you make any changes to this template, you have to publish it. So make sure if you make adjustment, you update some of the content like the wording or the, what have you, make sure once you saved it, then press publish. That's the only way you're going to get this page published. So that's all published. So we're going to go out of this now, and we're going to go into our, back into our administration here. We're going to go back over here to our preference center and go. And this is our demo one. So let's go back into this. And we're going to go to the, actually, no, we're not going to go to the form. We're going to go over here to the edit page properties. And down at the bottom, we're going to add a skin. And so this is my demo unsubscribe. This is the one we just created. And then we're going to go up to the top and go save. And then what we're going to do is scroll down, and we're going to have a look and see. Voila. So that's what it looks like. So now we've got an image at the top. This is what they'll see when they come in here. We've got our update. They can unsubscribe. I'd have to play with the widths a little bit. You can see that mine are a little bit off. And I could make it a little bit wider than 400, which would be fine. But you can work with the width on that, on the HTML, and just make it, 500 instead of 400, which was its default, and then you'd be fine there. But that's how easy it is to do a landing page. You do your script first for this, build your template, your landing page template. Just make sure you press that publish each time you want to make some adjustments to it, okay? All right, so next one we're going to build. Next one we're going to build. Okay, let's go back into this. This hasn't kicked me out yet, so speak of the devil. There we are. We went a little over an hour this time. So there it is. The API hosting your machine is currently unavailable. What's happened is that and if I click on this, I'm going to get this invalid JWT token error. That's this security thing. For some reason, it's kicking me out. The only way to fix this is to close down Act. And let me minimize this. And actually, let me bring that back up. That's my emails. Not now. And we're going to bring back Act. Any questions so far, Jared, on anything we've covered?
Nope, we don't have any questions on here. Definitely looking pretty powerful, at least sort of just with the customization. Definitely impressed. I'm impressed being able to see what you can do on different pages for your email marketing in terms of videos, GIFs, social media, customization, um, adding your own little flair to things, and then obviously you can update that going forward whenever you want. It's kind of cool. It's very, very powerful.
It is very powerful, and what I really love about it is the minimal adjustments you can make to make this look. I took a PDF file for one client. I was helping them out. Took a PDF file which was graphically done, and I was able to just about 98% get it exactly the same, just by these little adjustments to make it look exactly the same.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool what you can do with this. All right, so the next one we're going to build, I mean, look at my list. We're going to make an Outlook template. All right. Okay, so next one, new. That's not a new campaign. We don't want a new campaign. We want a template. And I want you to make sure that you understand it, what a template's for. It's a structure. That's all it is. It's not, when you build the campaign, that's when you're going to put all your content in there. So these next ones I'm doing are just basically templates, exactly what the word describes. So I'm going to create a new template. I'm going to use a blank one here. Go continue. I'm going to call this demo July, what's the date today, Jared? 7th, 6th? July 6th.
It's the 6th today. Yep. July
Uh,
6th.
and then we'll just put Outlook. And what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down. This doesn't let me, for whatever reason, I'm getting some cut off here, but we're just going to, because it should allow me to put it into a folder, which I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to go into properties, and I'm going to grab this folder, and I'm going to put it in my demo templates. There we are. And now let's just go into, and first of all into settings. I'm going to make this 600. We've got the subject line down at the bottom here. So under roles, I'm going to put another role here. I'm going to put another role there. So this is just for a signature. So first one here is we're going to put some text in here. We're going to put some text in this one. And we're going to put some text in this one. We're going to put some text in this one. And we're going to put an image in this one. Now, let's first of all, in this particular one, we're going to go hi. And we're going to change the fonts and stuff on this, but I'm going to do this first. So I'm going to go hi, and then I'm going to go to merge codes or merge tags. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I did that way too fast. Hi, and then we're going to go to merge tags. And I'm going to scroll way down to the bottom, down here to where I find salutation. That's going to pull from salutation field. So, and then I'm going to put a comma there, and I'm going to leave that. And then I'm going to change the word on this one to body of email. And I'm going to put it in brackets. So you'll know to go and that's where you're going to put the body of the email. Now I'm going to change this. I'm going to go over here and change this column here to black. I'm going to change this column here to black. But I'm also going to make a couple of more adjustments. I've made it black, but I'm going to use the spacing, not the first one, but the second one, just to give it a little bit more spacing. And I want to change the font size. So I'm going to actually have to do this. I'm going to have to actually highlight this, and I want this at 16 point. And 16 point. Now I could set my default under settings, but I'm just showing you how to do that. And then over here, I'm going to paste in my signature line. And over here, I'm going to grab a picture. I'm going to grab a picture. I'm not grabbing my picture. Let's pick this happy face. And so then I'm going to scale this down. Now it's a little too high. I want to put a space on after Gary. And so I want this to kind of match up with this down here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to turn on the buffer. So I'm going to do the top. I'm going to give it some, get that down about there. So now that kind of matches up good there. I'm going to make this bold. First of all, I'm going to make this black. And I'm going to change, okay, I can't change the font there. I thought I could change the font in here. Nope, guess not. All right, so we're going to change this. We'll leave that at, let's see here. We'll bold that. We'll bold that. And we'll, whoops. And we'll make this 16 point. Now, if you want to change colors of stuff, you can go into the font color, to the palette, and you can have hex code here too. And the hex code, did I write down the hex code for this? Yeah. 186532. 186532. There, it's our corporate green. So there's our green color there. I could do the same for this one as well. Now, this last piece is really important. You see where it says here, click here to unsubscribe. Really important that this unsubscribe be changed. This is the default one that has the, it'll either pull from, if you haven't changed that one component in the layout, the unsubscribe layout editor one, if you haven't changed that, it's just going to be the default one. So you want to delete this. And you're going to go over to special links, and you're going to go to preferences, and there's my demo unsubscribe. That will bring it to the other. So all I have to do then is just delete. I can edit this text and just say unsubscribe. And I typically, my unsubscribe one here, come on. Trying to highlight you here. I usually make that 10 point. That's totally up to you. I like it more obscure than right in your face. You don't want to have it like 18 points standing up. Hey, you want to unsubscribe? You want to keep it fairly, you know, out of the way. All right, so I'm pretty much done. I'm going to press save. I don't have to press publish. That publish is not even available in here. So I've got this structure set up. The only other thing that I'm going to do is on this template, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go over, when we get into the campaigns tomorrow, next Wednesday, I'm going to show you some cool things. We're just about out of time. I'm going to have to hustle here. We're going to go a little bit over, but it is a recording, so you can come back to it later. Under the subject line, I'm going to take out the demo. I'm going to paste in this. This is where it's going to put a merge when I actually send it off. In the subject line, it's going to go, hi, Gary, and then whatever I want to type after that. So I'm going to just update that one thing because you're going to update these two. All right. So now my Outlook template is ready to go, and I press save, and that's all I have to do. Now I can go into another one. I'm going to do, let's see here. We've got Outlook template. I'll do a quick newsletter one. Just really quick and dirty. And I'm going to use a template on this one, another template. All right, so that's basically my Outlook one. And then I'm going to go over here and go return. And I'm going to go new template. Sometimes it's hard to, I'm going to, you know, one of the things this doesn't allow you to do is do a search. So you can do by industry, financial. Let's do financial services. Oh, they got a few there. All right, so I'm just going to leave it as a blank template. Continue. And this would be Domo newsletter July 6th. Oh man, dyslexic demo. All right. And we're going to press save. Now, once it comes in here, instead of trying to drag and look around for templates that way, I'm going to import, I can import my templates into this so I can actually pull from another template, or I can import from templates. And I like this better because now I can search. From the other area, you can't. So newsletter. There's a newsletter. So there's a quotes newsletter, wireframe newsletter. I don't know what that is. So let's choose this one here. And so it can give you different frameworks, some basic, so I'm just going to use this one here because this is a framework one. This one's already done up for you. So newsletter, I'm going to use this framework here. You can also use this one here if you wish. Very similar. It's a framework, but I'm going to use this one here. And the nice thing about this one is I can just drag and drop. So now what I can do is just go to my content, and you've got a picture up here. You've got text that you can put in here. Text is already there, so I can just grab an image. Oh, it's already got an image in there, so let's delete that one. So it's pretty much set up. I can just go ahead and use this structure if I wanted to, and just start adding pictures in here. So I can click on here, and you should see when you change images, you also have the ability to search for free photos. Like I've got some that I've done up, but you can go to free photos and pull in, I don't know, financial. And let's just put in, import that one. And insert. So I can go through and just insert, and then I can go through and I can change, the sizes, adjust it however I want. I can put a link, a URL link into the, that's the URL link for the image, but down here I can put a URL link in for an action item for it to go to someplace else. So basically the structure's there. I can change the background color if I wanted to, make it more kind of a dark color or a lighter color. Let's get it into a blue, something like that. Same with this one here. Get it into that blue. So you can see here I can mess around with this a lot of different ways, which I showed you originally, and adjust all this. So if you don't want the black behind that, I can use that same blue. And I could use the whole blue for the whole thing if I wanted to. Just go over here and go background color. Use that blue, and it's all blue if I wanted to. So you've got lots of flexibility here. Hopefully this has given you enough to really get the feel of the power behind this. I have something to say about newsletters. We'll talk about that when we go into our next session next week. We'll be talking about, we'll be doing campaigns and assets and all sorts of cool things next week when we actually get into that part of it. But the framework for the templates, really important. Take your time, decide what you want to do. This all goes back to our original one last week was, well, what are you planning? What's your marketing strategy and structure and planning? Jared, any questions before we're cut this off, because it is we're like 1 minute here left, and I've kind of rushed this last little piece here.
Yeah, there's no questions in the chat or were asked, so
Okay.
everybody's just been listening intently and following along as you go.
Okay. Cool. And so just one of the other last couple of things that I'll just show you, just a reminder that if you want to click on actions, you can preview what you're seeing. Little X right here to take you out. If you want to see what it looks like on a mobile device, just click mobile. I'll mention this next week as well. And Jared, maybe remind me just to next week show them the different previews, if you wouldn't mind. And then the other one is show structure, hide structure. I don't know why anybody would use that, but I personally don't. I don't use that. Just remember that when you're doing these things, press your save button to save it. Otherwise, it doesn't get saved, and then you can go in and make your make whatever adjustments you need to And I always send a test to myself, even though I may preview it. I'll preview it a bunch of times, but when I think it's just about ready to go, I'll go up here and I'll go send a copy and send a test. I was messing around here with testing, but I always send this to, I'll put 2 emails in here. I'll put in, let's just change this to my CRM account, and I'll also send it to my Gary at corelogix, or actually in this case, we're doing training. So I do training at corelogix.ca. So I'll send it to at least 2, one going to a browser email platform and one going to a desktop. So just to give you an idea. No questions, Jer? All
Nope.
right.
Yeah, no more questions. Yep.
Well, thanks for your time today, folks. Hopefully, this has been of help to you. Any questions that come up during the week as you're getting the homework, you'll get an email with homework for tomorrow. Just reach out and maybe write a list down, or reach out and say, "Hey, what about this? What about that?" And then I can include that on the next on the campaign part of what we're going to do next week. So hopefully, you guys have a great week. Keep an eye out for the homework, and we'll talk to you. Oh, by the way, one last thing. Because of the way the structure is in here, I will be sending out some links to the recordings, and these will be direct to YouTube. These are private recordings, so they're not public. They're just specific for you to access. And with that in mind, have yourself a great rest of your day and the weekend. It's only Wednesday, but I won't see you until then probably. So all the best. Bye, Jared.
See you later, Gary. Thanks.